Janiyah was only 5 years old. Now, I always ask, guys, I just don't understand what these kids do that is so bad that these people feel the need to abuse them. Nonetheless, Janiyah Russell, 5 years old, was reportedly went into cardiac arrest and was pronounced dead a half hour later after she was taken to Sunrise Hospital. On September the 11th, around 7:45 a.m., Las Vegas police were called to the Suites. The Suites. Let me show you guys what The Suites looks like. If I have a picture of it. Right there, I had to look that up on Google. That is The Suites, near Boulder Highway and Twain Avenue, after receiving reports of a child needing medical assistance. Again, Miller is 23 years old and summoned medics at about 9:45 a.m. on September the 11th to the Extended Stay Hotel. The Extended Stay, The Suites Hotel on the 4800 block of Boulder Highway. And I actually had some people say about this. They say, let me back it up a little bit so y'all can see it. People say that these apartments are like, not apartments, but this hotel, they say is actually not a very nice hotel at all. Like they say there's a lot of drugs and prostitution that goes on around this area. If y'all live in Vegas, then maybe y'all can let me know. I have no idea. I don't know. Okay? But she told police that she had put the child, Janiyah Russell, in a bath. Let me stop right there. Did we not just do a story last night about a kid getting burned up in a bath? Guys, I'm not even intentionally trying to pick these stories out to be similar. They just end up being similar. It's weird, right? She put the child in a bath, who was not her biological child. She is the girlfriend of the biological father. Go figure. So just like I talk about the fathers, or excuse me, how I talk about the boyfriends and these mothers getting these boyfriends and just putting them around their kids. Well, this boyfriend put his girlfriend around his biological daughter. Hashtag, where's the mother? She put the child in a bath and then she went out to smoke and returned to find the girl floating upside down in the water, according to the arrest report. Now, the child was declared dead at Sunrise Hospital and Medical Center. The child's father was not there at the time, and I would like to know, where the hell was he? Well, I'll give you his name here in just a moment. The child's father was not there at the time, and Miller claims that on September the 10th, the day before Janiyah died, the girl had gotten into what she quotes as a scuffle, a fight. She said that she got into a scuffle with some neighborhood kids at the Suites. That sounds a little weird. Nonetheless, she got into a fight with some kids at the Suites, an extended stay apartment complex near Boulder Highway and Twain Avenue, where the girl lived with her dad by the name of Richard Davis. So that is his name, Richard Davis. And you guys saw his photo. So if you guys want to look up his information and find out as far as who he is pertaining to the story, then I encourage you to do so. Whom she referred to as mom. She referred to Miller as her mom. She describes the injuries as minor and was not concerned for her safety, Metropolitan Police Department Abuse and Neglect Detective wrote in a report. She did not knock on any neighbor's doors, and she did not report the incident to security or police. The girl's father also would later tell police that his daughter, quote, showed no signs of being injured. Okay? Now, Janiyah ate some chicken nuggets from Popeyes. Popeyes has been in the news a lot. She ate some chicken nuggets from Popeyes. I don't know if that's a ploy to get them some more business or what, but played with her toys and was put down to sleep on the couch, according to the report. Early the next morning, while the girl's father was out donating blood at a local blood bank, Miller called 911 to report that Janiyah, after being given a bath, was unresponsive, reports state. Okay, that's where we're at so far. But it's about to get worse as far as the details, because you have to wonder, well, how did she get arrested? Why did she get arrested if nothing went wrong, right? Now, in an interview at the hospital, Miller told detectives that despite a scuffle with the neighborhood children the previous night, the girl appeared to be in good health and did not complain of any injuries. She ate dinner and played with her toys and woke up fine. Now, according to Miller's arrest report, she called 911 and was instructed to perform chest compressions on Russell, who Miller found unresponsive in the bathtub. Miller performed the CPR until medical arrived. Russell was found lying on her back on the living room couch, the arrest report said. Medical personnel noted that there was visible bruising. Around her lips, forehead, upper arms, and legs, according to the arrest report. There was also blood in Russell's mouth. How about that? Right? When Miller was interviewed by police at Sunrise Hospital, she told officers that Russell had been involved in some sort of scuffle with other children at the suites between 4 to 5 p.m. on September the 10th. The arrest report said that Miller did not report the incident since Russell did not complain of any pain and played with her dolls at dinner. Now, doesn't that sound like bullcrap? How many of you guys are calling BS on this? Some quote-unquote scuffle. Isn't it funny how these situations are always made to seem like the kids did something wrong, not the caretakers? That's becoming a very common theme, right? And again, if you guys are watching right now, this is going to be a two-part story because there was only one news video on this. So I'm going to be telling you guys an extended version of the story since everybody said they want to know and hear the whole thing. So again, we got about 125 people watching. Let's get at least 125 thumbs up. Again, the biological father's name is Richard Davis. Matter of fact, let me make a notation of his name right here. Richard Davis, who was Janiyah Russell's father and Miller's boyfriend of 6 years, confirmed Miller's story and said that Miller was Russell's main caregiver, the arrest report said. Hashtag, where is the biological mother? Miller denied causing the visible injuries on Russell's body and had no explanation as to how she received the injuries. On September the 12th, Clark County coroner performed an autopsy on Russell's body. According to the arrest report, Russell suffered at least, I'm going to pause the pictures right there because I want y'all to take note of this. The coroner noted that there were at least three broken ribs, an acute brain bleed, and severe laceration on her liver, which caused internal bleeding. Now, what does that sound like to you guys? Because I know what that sounds like to me. What's my motto? Parents should keep their hands, feet, and other objects away from these kids. Stop spanking your kids. Stop beating your kids. Stop physically disciplining your kids because it can go too far really, really easily, right? But no, people continue to keep making excuses as to why they physically discipline their children. So here's the thing. The coroner also noted trauma throughout this 5-year-old girl's body, and the doctor who performed the autopsy told police Russell's case was ruled a homicide. It was ruled a homicide by blunt force trauma. Does the father have full custody? He has not given a statement yet, Donna. I have no idea. But one would have to think he probably did if this was his longtime girlfriend and he was with this girlfriend for 6 years. This whole thing is weird. Where is the biological mother? Does he have full custody? And why did he continue to leave this little girl with this woman? What does blunt force trauma mean? That means this little girl was hit really, really hard multiple times. Enough to break ribs and lacerate her liver and have a brain bleed. She was beat up. Unless she was beat up by kids 2 or 3 times her size, I seriously doubt if this little girl would have gotten to some scuffle. That sounds like bullcrap. How many of you guys believe that that's a lie? Because I think it's a lie. Okay? Blunt force trauma and was ruled a homicide. Miller was arrested later that day without incident, and the arrest report said that Miller, who was responsible for Russell's safety and welfare, did willfully and maliciously strike her with such force to cause her to suffer internal injuries that caused her death. She's been in custody at the Clark County Detention Center and held on a $250,000 bail since her arrest on September the 12th, which sounds about right, which is why I don't understand why a lot of these parents or these caretakers, the last few stories I've done, they've been getting about $25,000, $50,000 bail. Their bail should be a lot higher than that. Like this one. $250,000 sounds about right. She's scheduled to appear in court on October the 2nd at 9:30 a.m. for the people that want to look that up. And on Tuesday, a judge approved releasing Miller on the condition that she submits to an electronic monitoring and stay away from the girl's father and any children. And it wasn't clear if she had posted bond. That's the first part of the story. But again, she has to make a $250,000 bond. 10% of that will be $25,000, which I'm sure they probably do not have. Now, let me take a look and see where we are as far as thumbs up. We just got a couple more donations in. Again, for the people that want to donate, the links are in the description box. Click one of those and donate if you need to send me a message. That's a quick, easy way to do it. Send it by way of Cash App or PayPal. I can see that message right away. We have 86 thumbs up. Again, if you are watching, please click the thumbs up. I don't know why people want to be so selfish and they do not want to click the thumbs up. I'm just asking if people will click the thumbs up. Please, please, please. Yeah, don't jinx me, Jolly Noose. Don't jinx me. Don't jinx me. Just asking for people to click that thumbs up. The father already knew that she wasn't treating this baby right. I'm just saying, patterns of abuse are things that you definitely see. That's why they call them patterns. And I believe that somebody in this story was negligent. But they've arrested the mother, or excuse me, not the mother. They arrested the woman who was her caretaker, who is this woman right here, Shevhuan Miller, who's 23 years old. She looks like she's at least double that age. Thank you, Lady Foots. I'll check it here in just a moment. So let me check the thumbs up for now before I proceed, because we have a part 2 to this. So y'all give me a moment. Let me see where we are as far as thumbs up. Can everybody commit to at least giving us 100 thumbs up? 23 years old. We got 100 thumbs up. I'll roll with that. That's good enough. If y'all don't click it after that point, then I'll just leave it be, okay? Let me shout out a couple people that donated who are in the chat. My guy, Mark Adams. Thank you again to Jay Day, if you're listening. Thank you. Oh, are we buffering again? I hope not. I hope we're not. No, we shouldn't be buffering because I can watch myself. We shouldn't be. But yes, there is a whole entire part 2 to this story. And the reason I'm telling you guys this, and the reason why we voted on it initially, is because most of the story was not in the news as a collective piece. It was separated, and just refresh. Just refresh. That's all I can tell you. Shout out to my guy, Last Chance. If Last Chance is listening, thank you to Donna Aguayo. Thank you also to Bodacious J. One person wants to remain anonymous. Thank you to Mark Adams as well. Got a message here. If the little girl was 5 and he had been in a relationship with this woman for 6 years, then he was cheating. Ooh, wee. That is a great point. Y'all are saying there's no video. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Let me check. To Mark Adams as well. Got a message here. Leisha, I can see myself. If it starts repeating myself, then that means you guys can hear me. Guys, I am watching myself by way of my cellular connection and it's still playing. Lower your resolution down. Lower your resolution down to maybe like 320. Yeah, refresh. Lower your resolution down to either 360, 240, or 144, or even 480. If you're watching at 720, then it might buffer on you. By way of my cellular connection, and it's still playing. Lower your resolution down. Lower your resolution down to make. Guys, if I can watch myself, then that means it's working. It's working for everybody else. I only see a couple people saying, yeah, just go out and come back to the video if it's not working for you. We got one more that came in. For all the shows that you've done, that's from my guy, Robert Charles. If you're listening, bro, thank you very much, who just donated by way of Cash App. So thank you very much. I just got that. Thank you very much. So yeah, everybody else can hear it. Here's part two. Here's part two. Shevhuan Miller, right there. 23 years old, why she looks like she's 43 or 53 in the face. Faces 1 count of open murder and 3 counts of child abuse or neglect resulting in substantial bodily harm, according to jail court records. The coroner's office has yet to determine Janiyah's official cause of death, which we just found out a minute ago, which was, they're saying they're ruling it a homicide by way of blunt force trauma. So that we do have now. But on Friday morning, during Miller's first court appearance, a prosecutor read from her arrest report describing bruising after bruising found on the girl's body, as well as a lacerated liver. Justice Peace Ann Zimmerman interrupted the prosecutor saying, "I've read the arrest report and I've read about the injuries and the death of the child, and I feel like there's so much more information that needs to be provided." She did not elaborate and ordered Miller to be held without bail at the Clark County Detention Center pending her next court appearance, which is here in October. Let me get that date for you guys again. That is October the 2nd, okay? Pending her next court appearance, during which another judge will address her custody status. During a brief hearing, Miller kept her head down and did not look into the courtroom gallery where Janiyah's family sat listening intently. So I'm pretty sure that that family was probably really, really pissed off, which I can understand. Myra Anderson, who is Janiyah's aunt, walked out of the courtroom shortly after the details of the girl's injuries had been revealed, and she said her and her twin sister, Kyra, and their aunt, Tisha, attended the court hearing while Janiyah's father and grandmother, Richard and Barbara Davis, were at the funeral home sorting out details for her service. Janiyah called this woman Mom, Maya Anderson, crying out, later told the Las Vegas Review-Journal outside of the courtroom. She knew her as Mom, and she didn't know anybody else as Mom but her. That gets me right here on my chest. That hurts my heart to hear that. This little girl only knew her as Mom. Regardless of whether she was the biological mom or not, you guys know that there are a lot of there are a lot of boyfriends, and not all of them are bad, that step up in the place of the biological fathers who don't want to be in these kids' lives and do a great job. And shout out to those fathers who step up even though they're not the biological fathers. This should not translate any different when you have a woman who is not the biological mother. There's no reason why she shouldn't be able to just step up and be a mother. A lot of men do it all the time, right? Now, the Anderson family said that Miller has been a part of Janiyah's life since she was born. Oh, matter of fact, I'm sorry, I forgot to read that. Is there a GoFundMe? I don't know yet. I don't know yet. That's a great question mark. I don't know yet. If you guys are able to find it, post it in the chat, but I didn't see a GoFundMe. I looked up a bunch of different news articles. There was not a lot on this. Now, here's a message that I got just a moment ago by way of Cash App. And this message says, if this little girl is 5 and he's been in a relationship with this woman for 6 years, then he was cheating, so she had resentment towards the child. What do you guys think about that? I'll read that again. Got a message by way of Cash App. I told you guys it's a real easy place to send me a quick message and show support. If the little girl was 5 and he had been in a relationship with this woman for 6 years, then that means he was cheating and could potentially have had, and the mother could have, or the woman, Shevhuan Miller, could have had resentment towards this child. Which seems to make a lot of sense. She probably did not care about her and probably beat the hell out of this kid. That's what she was arrested for. Now, let's keep going. The Anderson family said that Miller had been a part of Janiyah's life since she was born, and Shevhuan Miller, and the girl's father started dating 6 years ago, they said. What happened in there? We just want to know what happened, Maya Anderson said, adding that Miller had been watching the girl at the time. Court records did not list a co-defendant in the case as of Friday afternoon. We don't hate her, Tisha Anderson said, who is the girl's great aunt, said of Miller. But we want justice for our Janiyah. Scrolling through photos on her cell phone, Tisha Anderson pulled up a recent image of Janiyah smiling as she sat next to a pink stuffed unicorn. And I think I have that photo. It was the one I used in the thumbnail. That one. That's the photo that she showed them. She was happy, and she was always happy and smiling, looking down at her phone, and she said she looks just like her dad. They're like twins. Myra Anderson said that her brother had recently regained custody of Janiyah, who had ended up in and out of foster homes while under the care of her mother in another state. That's why there's a part 2 to this story. I want to make sure everybody heard that. And let me say hi to everybody out there in the chat. I see you guys in there typing. I can see everybody typing. I'm going to read that part again for everybody who was wondering where the biological mother is. I'm going to read that again. Myra Anderson said her brother had recently regained custody of Janiyah. Regained custody of Janiyah, who ended up in and out of foster homes while under the care of her mother in another state. Ouch. Ouch. So that means that this little girl ended up in foster care because her mother was not caring for her properly in another state, and her mother lost custody. So the father stepped up and gained custody. So there's the story. There's what happened. Shevhuan witnessed the hell he had to go through to get his daughter back, Myra Anderson said. Now, my brother won't get to see her go to school for the first time or for her to have her first boyfriend. A status hearing in the case is scheduled for Tuesday morning. Court records indicate that Miller does not have a criminal history in Clark County. She does not have a criminal history in Clark County, specifically. We've always known her to be a nice girl, Tisha Anderson said of the suspect. We're all just shocked. Janiyah's death marked the 97th homicide investigation in Clark County this year, and the 72nd investigated by Metro, according to records maintained by the Review Journal. Let me go ahead and give you guys the fair usage and show you the one and only news video that was on this story. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. I agree. Where is that? Who's the person that said that? Where's it at? Christine said, a father finally gets his kid and then something like this happens. Isn't it sad? This is the one and only news video that's out there. If y'all know of more news videos, let me know, but I think this is the only one.
Now, a child is dead after going into cardiac arrest at the Siegel Suites on Boulder Highway right near Flamingo.
13 Action News reporter Austin Carter has exclusive video from the scene where there is still a police presence nearly 12 hours later.
Well, this investigation has been going on since about 8 o'clock this morning. Let's go ahead and get you straight to video you'll see only on 13 Action News here inside the suites near Boulder Highway in Flamingo. Metro says they got a call from one of the area fire departments saying that they were responding to a 5-year-old girl who had suffered from a cardiac arrest. She was rushed to Sunrise Children's Hospital, where she was later pronounced dead. Now, we do know that Metro's abuse and neglect unit has been called out here to investigate as well. Right now, we are working to learn from the coroner's office the identity of that 5-year-old girl who died. I'm Austin Carter reporting near Boulder Highway in Flamingo, 13 Action News.
Guys, that is literally the only news video. And I want you guys to notate something in that story. They said that Child Protective Services came out to investigate because they suspected foul play. I'm gonna play that again so y'all can hear it without my commentary. Listen again.
Now, a child is dead after going into cardiac arrest at the Siegel Suites on Boulder Highway right near Flamingo.
13 Action News reporter Austin Carter has exclusive video from the scene where there is still a police presence nearly 12 hours later.
They're saying she went into cardiac arrest, but she went into cardiac arrest because she was bleeding out internally. You guys catch that? She was bleeding out internally because she had head trauma and she had a lacerated liver because she had been beat up. Okay? Thank you to Mark Adams, who just joined us, our channel also. But Mark always donates, and he just joined us by way of the memberships. If you guys are not aware of the memberships, click that blue join button and you can actually join us whenever we start doing members only as far as the chat, and then you'll be able to participate. Doesn't cost you a whole lot. But shout out to Mark Adams. Thank you very much for joining, bro. Appreciate that. Let's listen to the story one more time.
Police presence nearly 12 hours later.
Every person that was a steward to her in her life failed her. I agree. Christine, what you said was very powerful. Thank you very much. And Linda said, when does it stop? Peach Cutie Pie said, why so little coverage? I'm just saying, it's weird how there are hardly, this was the only news video I could find, and this one didn't even name her by name. They didn't say Janiyah Russell. They said an unnamed child, but I knew it was her. We want to talk about all of these celebrities. We want to talk about what's going on with Nicki Minaj and all of this other bull crap. We want to talk about Malik Yoba and all of this stuff. But to me, these children should be getting the most coverage. You know why? Because they cannot speak for themselves and they cannot defend themselves. They depend on us for everything that they get, and we're more focused on what the hell celebrities are talking about. I think that the news and these local areas out there need to be reporting this way more than the other BS, more than sports, more than anything. They need to be talking about this to shed more light on these kids out here getting abused by their caretakers. Now, that's why we're the AFC. We advocate for children first.
Well, this investigation has been going on since about 8 o'clock this morning. Let's go ahead and get you straight to video you'll see only on 13 Action News here inside the suites near Boulder Highway in Flamingo. Metro says they got a call from one of the area fire departments saying that they were responding to a 5-year-old girl who had suffered from a cardiac arrest. She was rushed to Sunrise Children's Hospital, where she was later pronounced dead. Now, we do know that Metro's abuse and neglect unit has been called out here to investigate as well. Right now, we are working to learn from the coroner's office the identity of that 5-year-old girl who died. I'm Austin Carter reporting near Boulder Highway in Flamingo, 13 Action News.
I promise, and I challenge you guys, look up the story of Janiyah Russell. You will only find my video and maybe this one. You'll find a bunch of news articles. They're very short, truncated in some scenarios, but mine is probably the most comprehensive that you can find so far. But nonetheless, I'm not even worried about that. I just want to make sure that more and more people are starting to look out for these kids. Janiyah, and I really, really like what Christine said. And Christine said the thing that really kind of sums this up. This little girl was failed by her mother. This little girl was failed by her biological father. This little girl was failed by this woman, mainly Shevhuan Miller, who might have been bitter because he had a baby outside of the relationship that he was in for 6 years, and this little girl is only 5 years old, meaning there was some cross mingling going on there. But that happens a lot. We tend to recklessly screw, we tend to recklessly have sex, and recklessly bring children into this world. That's what we do in the United States of America, especially in the black community. We do this type of thing too often, and guess who ends up suffering? The children. Well, guess what? If those children survive, what do they turn into? Ta-da! Ta-da! They turn into adults with mental issues. It starts as babies. If we want good adults, we have to raise good children. I wish Lyric Speaks was in here. She used to tell me I say that all the time. If we want good adults, we have to raise good children. If we want good women, we have to raise good girls. If we want good men, we have to raise good boys. The way that we do that is to start having nuclear families. Please look that term up and find out what nuclear families are. That means biological mother, biological father. I can respect the fact that Richard Davis, who was the biological father in this instance, did what he could to try to get custody of his daughter. So if this was the only thing that happened in 5 years, which I don't believe it is, I think this was an ongoing thing. But nonetheless, I can at least respect the fact that he tried, but we have to do better by our children. If you're gonna go get your kids and get custody of your kids, you better make damn sure that you're able to provide for them a safe and productive environment to raise children into adults. We have to start having solid foundations, okay? But again, man, I want to thank you guys so much for listening to this story. This is your boy DJ Just JOK. I'm sure we'll find out more about what happens as the court dates follow. Again, if you want to follow this story, her name is Shevhuan Miller. It's spelled really weird. It's SHEVHUAN Miller. Again, she's 23 years old. Her next court date is October the 2nd at 9:30 a.m. She's currently being held on a $250,000 bail as of September the 12th. Now, that may or may not change. We don't know. But I would definitely love to see what else happens with this story. But we definitely want to get justice for this little girl. And I'm going to show you guys her beautiful face again. First and foremost, they should not have been living in the suites. It's not a conducive place to raise kids. Not at all. It's a beautiful picture. She does look exactly like him. She looks exactly like him. And it's sad. But that little girl has a beautiful smile, and I would have loved to. Hell, if I had more hands and more abilities, I would take care of this little girl my damn self, man. But this is a shame because she should have had a chance.